if a woman genuinely repents, she has a right to ask for a virgin guy in Islam. Just to make that clear.
She has a right, but I'm going to say something. She doesn't have the same ability. I'm giving advice to a girl on how to get married. She's very overweight, and I told her to lose weight in a very respectful and nice way. I told that to some girl I went to meet for a rishta. She was like, you should tell her to just love herself. It's complete BS.
I've done the 7-day free trial of the Quranic app and it exceeded all my expectations. Alhamdulillah, I was worried that it was an overrated product. That's what he thought until he tried it. Brothers and sisters, you can build a habit with the Quran by 7-day free trial, brothers and sisters. No credit card details required at all. And you decide for yourself, is it overrated or is it underrated?
Assalamu alaikum, guys. I have here the Muslim Andrew Tate.
Wow.
As you can say, I'm joking.
Yeah.
This guy, we believe you are much better than him because you're a Muslim.
MashaAllah.
You know, because you don't commit shirk. So let me ask you a question. You was talking about that people have got things muddled up. Yeah?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. You know, you look a bit sharp here. You look like you're looking for a second wife.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
Okay, are you married?
No, not yet.
Would you say you're polygamous by nature?
I think to an extent, if all men tapped into like their real desires,
Yeah.
and if they could have the power, not all men, lots of men, if they could tap into their desires, they would actually go for that. But the thing is, lots of men cannot do that because they're not strong enough or powerful enough, right? But if you look at kings of old, for example, some of these kings had 500 girls or harems, right? I'm not saying that that's Islamically right. You know, obviously we have our own take on that, but as far as I'm aware, I'm not the best at Muslim knowledge. I do have quite a bit there, but as far as I'm aware, it's up to 4, and that's open to debate, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you were really strong and you had a lot of money, and that's why lots of, for example, these Arab guys do it, right?
Yeah.
They're Islamic, they're religious, but they can do it, and they do it.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of men who don't have the money to do it as well. But are
Yeah.
you polygamous by nature? Meaning that would you agree that most men are polygamous by their nature? That
Yeah.
if they could, they would have a second or third wife or fourth wife?
Yeah, so
Am I right or wrong saying that?
I would say you're right, and I'm a big fan of biology. People ignore biology and people ignore science,
Key
but
factor, yeah.
I think science and religion can go hand in hand.
Can.
And the reality is, you know, like I'm going to be very crude. Men like to spread their seed, right? They like to have lots of children when possible and if possible.
Yeah.
And that Genghis Khan, example,
Yeah.
he had 12,000 women, right? And
12,000.
yeah, and any animal in the animal kingdom, we're not animals, right? But obviously we're part of nature and we have very similar tendencies, right?
Okay.
And in line with that, lots of men would love to have lots of children by lots of different women to differentiate their genetic pool. And this is factual based on scientific evidence. But again, it's just that lots of men can't because it costs a lot to manage a wife.
Okay, look, can't and
Yeah.
won't are two separate discussions, yeah?
Yeah,
Every man
yeah.
would want to.
Yeah.
They would not say, I won't or I wouldn't do it.
I think there's a very rare man.
It's I can't. Yeah, look, there's exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, I
Don't
agree,
twist it.
I agree.
Majority of men
Yeah.
are polygamous by nature.
Yeah.
Now, if a woman's watching this, if she came and said, oh, you're a misogynist,
Yeah.
or etc., why are men polygamous? Where does this come from?
Well, if
Yeah.
she was to say you're a misogynist, I think that's just an emotional response. It's very easy to label someone something
Yes.
very quickly.
Yeah.
And the bar to call someone a misogynist is very low these days.
Yeah, true,
right?
true.
But again, going back to the why, you see a burger,
Yeah.
you start salivating. You feel hungry. Why could they have...
You're equating women to burgers now.
No.
You're finished.
No. Or anything. Let's say fresh air. If you
Yes.
didn't have fresh air for a long time,
Yes.
you would crave it because that's our natural human instinct.
Yeah.
Women tend to like one guy. Yeah,
They're monogamous by nature.
they're a lot more. Well, it depends on the circumstances, right? If you break it down. So, for example, these days in the Western world, women are cheating as much as men, if not more, and that is a fact.
They what?
They're cheating more than men.
Why is that?
Official studies, by the way.
Yes.
And the reason is, one, it's very easy. There's
Yes.
things like no-fault divorce,
Yes.
right? There's things like dating apps and Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Even Muzmatch, allows things like that. Back in the day, if you were someone's wife, you were under hijab, you were in his house, you would not leave without his permission. I'm not saying that that's the optimal scenario religiously, but that's just how the world was, right? These days, if your wife has Instagram, I'm sorry to say, there's lots of people sliding into her DMs. And they're better than you, They can offer her more money than you. And under those circumstances, women are not monogamous at the same time.
They are. I have a theory.
Yes.
I believe women are still monogamous by nature. The reason they are becoming polygamous is the following reason. It's a theory.
Yeah.
And I believe it's quite a strong theory. If anyone can debunk me, please come ahead. Yeah, go ahead. When men are polygamous, what happens is usually, so let's imagine a man and a woman. They're in a relationship, outside, let's not put Islam, non-Muslims.
Yeah.
That guy is there for one reason.
Yeah.
She thinks he loves her. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's there for one reason. Once he gets what he wants, he says, you know what, I don't think we're compatible. A lot of arguments happen. He breaks the relationship up.
Yeah.
She is under the assumption of what? I was in a relationship and we was not compatible, so he moved on.
Yeah.
She meets another guy.
Yeah.
The guy has the same agenda.
Yeah.
She meets another guy. The guy has the same agenda. By now she's got 3 body counts.
Yeah.
And it's going up.
Yeah.
What she doesn't realize is that because she sees men acting in that way, then they start rebelling and saying men are trash.
Yeah.
Why are men trash? Because you have made yourself so accessible so easily that men there's no responsibility. I could just go ask you out, take you on a first date, couple of days, and have what I want. So why on earth would I stay with you or be committed to you?
Yeah.
So therefore, the woman's body counts are quite not as bad as a man's, but I believe it stems from this because women are monogamous by nature, and they are looking for that Romeo, and they realize every Romeo they come across is not Romeo but a fraud. So therefore, what they're doing is they're thinking, you know what? I've had 4 body counts, and all of these men have come and used me. I'm going to become a, excuse my language, a HOE. So therefore, I'm going to go do what they're doing. But what they don't understand is that the more you do that, the more your pair bonding reduces. Because when women have intimacy, they release a hormone called oxytocin, which helps pair bonding. And studies show that women who have one partner or one, you can have one. So a woman who is married, who is a virgin, has 80% more likely to have a relationship lasting more than a decade.
Yep.
So what women don't understand is that the way men sleeping around, and by the way, it's both haram in Islam.
Yes.
They're both is capital punishment, don't get it twisted. But the reason you're doing that, you are shooting yourself on the feet. It doesn't affect the man as much because in his biology and the way he's programmed, he can have multiple wives. So the point I'm trying to say is I believe it stems from there.
You know what? I agree with you a lot. In fact, almost like 98%. The only thing is, firstly, a lot of people aren't very smart, in society. And the way I think we need to understand the underlying principles of why things are. You know, people take a religious side. And I'll give you a small example. Every girl, when she marries these days, she says, we were created in pairs. That's like a catchphrase these days.
Yes,
yeah,
which is it's on bogus.
It's on wedding cards. It's on wedding cakes everywhere.
Soulmates.
Yeah? And she will have had lots of guys, and she's gonna say this new guy number 134, is my new soulmate. That's not how it works. And that ayah doesn't even necessarily mean that. For example,
which ayah?
We created you in pairs.
Okay,
right?
yes.
I think the Quran is very poetic. It is very metaphorical. It does not necessarily mean that. Okay, and it does not mean that there was some special soulmate created for you. Soulmate myth is romanticism, but that's an example of how societal conditioning.
Pairs can mean male and female.
No, as in it could literally be referring to chromosomes. It could be.
No, it can. It can even refer to a man and a woman. You're in pairs.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean it's because otherwise you got the marrying 2, 3s, and 4s.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't contradict that, or doesn't it abrogate it?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean there's one special guy out there for you, right? And vice versa. But the point is,
not that there might be, but that one special guy can also be special for other women as well, because by getting married again.
You know. Here's an interesting fact.
So he can be special for a couple of women.
Here's an interesting fact. More people believe in the soulmate myth than God. Yeah?
Okay.
Like in the Western world.
Okay.
Official studies again.
Interesting.
And a lot of these things are official studies, but we listen to societal messaging. I'll give another example of societal messaging. The body positivity movement. I'm giving advice to a girl on how to get married. She's very overweight, and I told her to lose weight in a very respectful and nice way.
Yeah.
I told that to some girl I went to meet for a rishta.
Yeah.
She was like, you should tell her to just love herself. That is complete BS. No matter how much she loves herself, she cannot get a guy by staying fat and loving herself a lot. That's just not how reality works.
Next time you visit this rishta, tell her that next time she meets a guy for marriage, if he's 5'4",
yeah, exactly.
and she tells him, oh, I think you're a bit short for me. Tell him to love himself too.
Yep. There's a lot of double standards out there. Some are wrong and some are right. True. And one thing is, men hate hoes. It's a fact. No one will say this to you.
Sorry?
Men hate hoes.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So men do not like women that have slept around a lot. And again, that is rooted in biology because that would put the risk of paternity.
Yes.
It would increase the risk of paternity, right? So, for example, if a girl's been with 10 guys, biologically, you're like, there's a good chance that's not my kid. I should not invest in her. I do not like her. Your feelings of love and romance do not come.
Exactly.
One of the quickest ways to turn a guy off is to be a hoe, right? And that is a fact of life. A guy sleeping around and a girl sleeping around in a practical sense has very big differences. It is both a sin.
Both a sin. Let's make that very clear.
Yeah.
We're not saying, what we're saying is that biologically and the way Allah's created us, one has a greater impact on the on females than the males. This doesn't mean that the sin is not the sin. And by the way, just to make it clear, that the ayah in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about that chaste women are for chaste men is not talking about virgin girls. If a woman genuinely repents, she has a right to ask for a virgin guy in Islam. Just to make that clear.
She has a right, but I'm going to say something. She doesn't have the same ability. So
maybe.
If you've been with 20 guys and you've magically turned religious, and this happens a lot, and the reason is girls realize their mistakes. But your emotional tendencies are going to be worsened. If you tell someone honestly that you've been with 20 guys and you tell them that you've changed religiously,
we would advise not to.
Lots of guys will not put up with that, right? Because
why though? Why? Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me be devil's advocate. Why is it okay for a man to sleep around, but when it comes to a woman, it's not the same? Why does a man reject such?
There are lots of, again, it all goes back to biology. As a woman, it is very easy to sleep around. As a guy, it requires a lot of skill, money, looks, health, etc. But that's not even the base reason. The reason is men don't get pregnant. So women get pregnant. So if she's sleeping around with 20 guys, what's the chances of you being the father of that child? 5%. If you're sleeping around with lots of girls,
which is haram.
Yeah, I'm just giving an example.
You know who the father is and you know who the mother is.
But again, it comes down to biology. I'll give a small example of biology. People respect a strong physical man. That doesn't necessarily have much to do with religion.
I don't think you should talk about me.
Yeah, I like that. But as in, if you were to see a guy who's 6'6" and has huge muscles, you will not get rude to him. That has nothing to do with religion.
Not exactly, but that's in a woman's nature. She's hypergamous by nature, so she looks for. See, the thing is very interesting. We accept the woman the way they are. They're hypergamous by nature. They look for a man who is tall, strong, leader, provides, protects. But then when it comes to our nature of being polygynous,
we get shamed.
No, when it's like, okay, I'm polygamous by nature, and for example, I believe everyone is polygamous by nature, we're blamed for it. The same goes with fat shaming. If I went to a girl and I said, you know what, I think you should lose a bit of weight in a respectful way, and be like, you know what? I'll be like, how dare you say that to her? But if she can be the same girl that comes and says to me, I want a guy that's minimum 6'2". So the thing is, why is it double standards? Why is it when it comes to a woman's weight? Because you can control your weight. I can't control my height.
I think there's two reasons. One is women are more emotional, right? It's true.
Are you being misogynist now?
No, it is true. It is absolute fact. Men go to war, they fight their emotions, and they go to war. They bullets flying by, and you will still charge to the front line if you believe in the cause.
Yes.
A woman cannot do that to the same extent. Some women can.
There's exceptions to the rule.
There's exceptions to the rule. So I went LSE, so I'm kind of smart, yeah? But if you look at like normal distributions, the normal distribution for male bravery is way higher than female bravery. True. It's just how it is. Of course, you might get exceptions. True. So when a woman hears you need to lose weight, she takes that personally, she gets more emotional. When I hear that, I'm a bit chubby nowadays, I'll be like, okay, you know what, I need to go to the gym. It's as simple as that. I get told that's how it is, I have to do it. I'm a doer. I'm not going to try be a talker or go like, oh no, you know what, you shouldn't have that preference. That's your preference.
Okay.
And that's how it works. So that's thing number one. And the second thing is the sisterhood. Okay. The sisterhood, feminism, it's an echo chamber. Yeah. All these girls.
I think it's a cancer.
All these girls telling each other, just accept yourself, just love yourself.
It's not good.
Now feminism is so strong. We have somehow convinced fashion outlets to put pictures of big, beautiful women. I'm not saying that's allowed or whatever. Obviously, it's haram. You shouldn't have pictures out there in society anyways, in a religious sense. But that's told, we managed to the sisterhood has managed to convince some people that big is beautiful these days.
No, look.
Complete BS.
No. I disagree with you. It can be because you need to understand there are different men.
Generally.
Generally, I understand, but there's occasions to the rule.
Yeah.
Some women can't control their weight for a variety of health reasons. No, let's be real. There are medical reasons. Yeah. Okay, so that can happen, but I understand where you're coming from. There are exceptions to the rule. We don't want our sisters who are watching, some might be overweight, they should work on it, but if they can't, they shouldn't be made to feel...
Sorry for being a bit rude.
Yeah, no, that's fine, but they shouldn't be made to feel, okay, there is someone for everyone. Just to make that clear. I know where you're coming from. I know where you're coming from.
If you want to increase your marital success in terms of choosing someone, you have to cultivate yourself according to the other gender. It's just how it is. As a guy, if you're poor and you're fat, you're not going to get a lot of options. You have to work on yourself to become educated, good looking, have some money, have some assets, be able to provide a good lifestyle, have a sense of leadership.
Okay.
On the female side, it's the same. If all men go...
it's not the same. Because we don't look, when I look for a potential, I don't care how much money she makes.
No, I was going to say it's the same logic in the sense that you have to improve.
Okay.
So if a guy wants a feminine woman, if a guy wants a girl who's not a hoe, if a guy wants a girl who's sweet and smiley, whenever some girl asks me, what do you want? I say, I just want a sweet and smiley woman.
No, obedience. We look for obedience. Let's be real here. We look for a woman who's obedient. And when I mean obedient, people get this notion of like, I go home and I punch in the face. And
Agreeable.
I loved it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, for example, as a man, if I come and say, I would not like you to go to holiday with your friends. For example, the way you dress is maybe a bit provocative. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I would look for that, and every man looks for that. So what? It's okay, because at the end of the day, that's what I look for. But some woman will say, well, hold on a second, who are you to give those rules? But you're the same woman who, within your nature, you look for a guy who's taller, protector, provider. You look for these things. I don't blame you for that, but you're blaming me for the things that I look for.
You know what? I'll tell you guys a quick story. So the internet is amazing and it's really bad. The internet has caused this cancer in many ways, right? Because it's an echo chamber. People can share lots of messages really quick, and we all have a confirmation bias where we look at things that align with our views, and we go like, you know what? This is right. This person is 100% right, but that's just because we think we're right? So back in the day, I used to be a very romantic person. I used to think women are all sweet, nice, and everything spice, or whatever the phrase is.
Did someone hurt you?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that gets brought up. The first phrase that gets thrown at you. Did someone hurt you?
Yes.
The answer is yes, and the reason is that's what helps you learn.
Yes, but let me tell you something. I will tell you, I was before Islam, I lived in Jahiliyyah, 2 decades of Jahiliyyah, There was a time of my life where, for example, some girls hurt me. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I didn't look the way I looked or was in the path. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I did. The reason I'm asking it is because sometimes what happens is you can use it in a healthy way and channel that energy into making yourself a better man.
And that's what you have to do, 100%.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's understandable. But again, the reason I'm asking you that is because these women get upset, and they are the same women who have caused, for example, when you was a good guy, when, like say the good guys finished last, etc., they didn't want to know you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's like they caused that spiral, and then when they make a man, and I believe Andrew Tate is a byproduct of that. I believe he was hurt when he was young.
I don't think you have to get hurt, right? It's just seeing reality for what it is. I'll give an example. If you get rejected by an assessment center, like an interview or something, you don't have to get hurt, but you learn from it. Next time, the chances of you doing that successfully is a lot higher. It's all it is. You just have to learn from whatever your experiences are, what your mistakes are. Any endeavor in life, you mess up, you learn. You fail at a business, you mess up, you learn. You fail at squatting, right? You're failing at 100 kgs, you go again and you learn, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to get hurt. But all it is we come, especially when we're younger, we have lots of social conditioning around us. Oh, buy her flowers. Oh, take her to a £200 date, whatever. And then one day...
£200 date, mad, but £30-40 max.
Do you realise that doesn't even work?
Mad.
That doesn't even work.
It's about who's taking you on a date, brother.
See, and it's nuances. It's a small... It does work, but after a certain point in time...
I'm joking.
One thing, for example, I learned that at the start, it doesn't matter about how much money you have. At the start, it's about how much of a good leader you are. And then the money kicks in.
But girls do look like, and generally they look at money.
Yeah, I agree.
And let's be honest, for us,
it's to get your foot in the door.
For example, like me, I love my wife. I believe she's the most beautiful woman on this planet. If her job was collecting dustbin, for example.
I wouldn't care.
I don't care.
I would not care.
But for a woman, it's not the same. If you was collecting dustbin,
to all the sisters watching at home,
best believe she ain't telling her friends, hey, my husband to be is a dustbin collector.
To all the sisters, believe our words. To all the sisters watching at home, We do not care if you work at McDonald's.
All the sisters that said no to him.
No.
Look where he is now. No, joking.
What we care about is you being smiley, agreeable,
Exactly.
and not
handsome like this guy.
and not
with
being
his Andrew Tate glasses.
and not being a HOE, right?
Yes.
And
But what about men? Why, when men do it, they get away with it? This is what sisters are going to be asking. Why is it when men do it, they get away with it?
because we don't get impacted the same way.
It's a fact. It's a fact, yeah? At the end of the day, again, this doesn't mean, because in the sight of Allah, you commit a sinner, you're a man or a woman, you die on it, it's peak for you.
Oh,
if you're in
but-
an Islamic state,
Yes.
madness, man getting lashed like his happy days, bro.
Yeah.
Slash, yeah? Okay. It is, it's peak, you get me?
There's official studies
there is
are done on this.
That doesn't differentiate. In Islam,
Yep.
the impact might affect a woman more, but in the Sharia, if you get caught, man's getting lashed nice.
Yeah. In Islam,
I think it's 80
obviously,
or 100,
they're
100.
both huge
100.
sins,
No, it's not 100.
male or woman.
That's what, maybe alcohol.
But
Yeah,
on a scientific level, there's studies. A woman sleeping with 3 men is equivalent to a man sleeping to 60 women in terms of emotional impact. Obviously,
It can be.
that is difficult to measure,
Okay.
but that's just what one study says.
No, it is.
That is an insight.
Yes. When it comes to pair bonding, like we said before, a woman release oxytocin, which helps the pair bonding, and the more intimate partners she has, it's like a knife going numb. It doesn't
Yep.
work. Not numb. Blunt. It's
Yep.
going blunt, yeah?
Yep.
It doesn't do the job anymore. And that is the reason why women tend to, when they're in these marriages or something, they do not know how to love anymore.
Yep.
They don't know, and it has a greater impact on it. I mean, that's it. I mean, the Muslim, I mean, you're better than Andrew Tate, but ban Andrew Tate, you get me? So what should we call you? What's your name?
Moment.
Huh?
Moment. Mu'min.
Mu'min, mashallah.
Mu'min.
He's a mu'min, bro.
Thank
You get me? Inshallah, may Allah make you a mu'min. Any last
Inshallah.
points you would want to give? You know, if the sisters want to marry you, you know, how should they approach you? And maybe you have to speak to the wali, the father, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about yourself. Maybe somebody wants to marry you.
Sisters out
How
there.
tall are you?
I'm 6'1" with shoes on. Sisters out there.
I'm 6'2".
You're amazing, man.
Okay.
Si-
Well,
si-
okay, yeah.
Sisters out there.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
23. Mashallah,
Yeah.
you're young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sisters out there, genuinely.
Biceps?
Genuinely. Not yet.
Tense it.
Not yet.
No,
It's not
tense it.
amazing
No,
yet.
he's
One
got
day.
something, he's got something there,
One day.
he's got something
One day.
Still, I can see.
But no, genuinely, sisters out there,
Yeah.
stop relying on your instincts. Stop relying on the internet
And feminism.
and feminism, and stop relying on your friends.
Yes.
Right? Follow your dad. Genuinely.
No,
And
no, follow
I
Islam.
think
Follow Islam.
follow Islam.
Yes.
But I think, you know, in Islam,
Yeah.
we have the system of the wali or the brother. Or
Yes.
your dad wants the best for you. Your dad is not your enemy. My sister got married. Alhamdulillah, she's in a great marriage.
Alhamdulillah. May
The
Allah
reason
protect
is, one, she never put herself out there too much, so she never got that much more attention. Now when she's with her husband and her husband gives her attention,
Yes.
it's amazing. It's amazing. So a woman's beauty is in protection. She should be
She wants to be
protected.
protected by her nature. She wants to be protected, yes.
A woman that is protected by her father, by her brother, whatever.
And then transfer to her husband.
Yes.
Yes.
Is something we really value. We are looking for that woman who's been
Yes.
protected from all this weird
Not
social
only that,
conditioning.
we want a woman to protect.
I'll give an example.
nature.
I'm doing a decent job. You know, I have lots of money stored away in investments and stuff.
Is it now?
But
Okay.
I'm gonna.
How many wives do you want?
I'm not trying to be arrogant, yeah.
Listen, how many wives do you want? Be honest.
I think if I get really rich, I'll maybe be able to afford 2. But for now, it's just 1. It's just 1.
I think that's good. It's in a halal way,
Yeah.
and you're gonna do it in the right way. You're not gonna have a side chick or a mistress or a
I-
girlfriend. You're gonna do it in the right way. Do you get
I
what
was
I'm
going to
saying?
give an example, yeah.
I like
Lots of student girls
Yes.
can outspend me. They're going to Hakkasan. You know, it goes with hijab on and everything. It's student loan money, you know.
Yeah.
They just get money thrown at them. They have not even worked a day in their life. They get money thrown at them.
But it's
And
like that. It's easy for a woman. All you have to do is wear makeup.
You have a head start. You
Yes,
have a head
yes,
start.
You do.
And if you abuse it,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
it's going to catch up to you.
Yes.
And
There's
honestly, I
consequences.
think, you know, the career myth is a bit of a lie. Yeah, like, you know, everyone.
Yes.
I'm a guy, I don't even like my
Bruv,
career.
bruv, there was a study done. This book, yeah, it's called
Yep.
Miseducation of Women, yeah?
Yep.
There was a study done of 100,000 men and women in UK and USA over 30 years.
Yep.
They found out that women are less happier.
Yep.
Since the rise
Exactly.
of feminism, yeah? What does that show you? Women prefer, bro, not to work. They don't want to work, bruv, yeah?
I don't want to work.
The only reason, no, you have to work, bruv. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you
I have
need
to work,
protect her. You have to
but
work
yeah.
and provide and protect, yeah?
Yeah.
The point is this. You're being sold a massive lie of a career woman. You're going to reach the age of 30, 35 where you cannot have kids anymore because you're not as fertile as you was when you were young.
Yeah.
And now it's harder to find somebody. And on top of that, this whole notion of career, your career is not going to be there. Don't fall for this massive lie. Buy this book.
Yeah.
I recommend 2 books for the sisters, Beauty Sick and James Tooley, the miseducation of women, it really exposes that anytime you look for solutions outside the Quran and the Sunnah, you're bound to suffer. And now we are seeing men go into red pill. You're going to suffer as well. Yeah, you're going to suffer. Trying to be Andrew Tate, bro. Who the hell is Andrew Tate? He's a no-value man. I've said this before. The guy is a no-value man. To a Muslim man, he's got nothing to offer. He commits shirk. Yeah, he's the worst of the worst. Unless he accepts Islam and repents, you know, he might be better than us. So I think that's it. Yeah,
Thank you, bro.
inshallah. If you get married, call me to your nikah. Yeah, make sure there's lobster in the wedding, please. Yeah.
Inshallah,
Okay, and
inshallah.
king prawns. Till next time. For assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.